Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, July 19th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Welcome, welcome. All right, well, what to expect here today? Well, first and foremost, we're opening up inside the previous day's range, so we'll be expecting chop. We'll be looking for the market to spend the first half an hour to hour of the day just kind of grinding up and down inside of a range. Looking for a direction, looking for someone to take charge of the market. So I will be looking for resistance basically in these large volume nodes just above us. So that is around 3880 and 3888. So those two areas, I'll be looking for resistance as the market pushes up into those. And then I'll be looking for support in this node down here, which is right around 3858. Okay, so that's sort of where I'm expecting the market to chop around for the first half an hour today, grind up and down in there. Now, as far as what the market is doing, the end of the day yesterday threw us kind of in a bit of a loop here because the market had broken out of balance and was beginning the process of trending higher. And then we had this massive sell-off late in the day with a big old spike down that is super bearish that pulled us back down inside the previous balance area, which is super bearish. But then what did the overnight do? Well, they basically just made a 45-degree angle low right from that balance area, which is a good, strong sign of support in there, increasing the odds that we did not need to pull back into that previous balance area. The market just got itself a little bit overly short there at the end of the day. So I am looking for support in this 45-degree angle from the overnight this morning. So first support is going to be around this node at about 3858. But if that breaks, I'll then be looking for support in this node around the overnight. And I won't really get bearish unless we break below there. If we do break back into that previous balance area, I will be very, very bearish for further downside continuation, especially with the fact that we left a weak low behind yesterday. But honestly, to me, it doesn't seem like that's what the market wants to do. It seems like we either just want to spend a day going sideways, absorbing this excess, or continuation higher here today. So I'm just going to sit back, relax, watch the market chop, and figure out which way it breaks outside of that chop as a first indication of what to expect today. Chopsville, USA. Market's going to chop up today. Let the slow grind begin. Good morning, chillin' with Dylan, Scooball, Brian, Damn Jam, Novice Trader, The Shaw, MW, John Lash, RK Leon, Bob Smith, Caffeine, Fighter Pilot, Philip, Knapp, Mac Vins, Daniel, Pavel. Welcome, everyone. Theo, welcome to you. Boss Man, Arthur, TV, ahoy. Chillin' with Dylan says, yesterday was a great reminder to stay in the game. Used up bandwidth, losing trades during the morning session, and then trying just to recover losses jaw dropping when I saw the M period. That is exactly what I like to hear. It's a perfect analysis of where you went wrong yesterday. There were no good opportunities in the morning. There was one trade to try to repair a poor low that got stopped out. And other than that, there was literally no setups whatsoever. So if you were trading yesterday morning up in here and just getting frustrated as can be, and then you were, stuck in staring at the market, watching it trade lower the rest of the day because you were too afraid to enter a trade because you'd been beat up in the morning. Well, now you know. Take those mornings when the market's not giving you signals to not trade. Relax. Get something to eat. Meditate. Do some exercise and prepare yourself for when the opportunities will present themselves, because the market will always give you another chance as long as you're there and focused and ready. And it is shocking how much having a bad trade earlier in the day will affect your ability to read the market. So we got good taper on the low, and we're heading up looking for some resistance. We, of course, always expect to find resistance at a previous set of single prints, wherever they started. So we're looking for some resistance at 38.97. Or sorry, 79. Elliot, blue shirt, CCT. Mark, Rev, Percy. Tharn, Jules, Rockingham, Nick G. Welcome, welcome. Thado, what are you trading? I'm not trading anything. I am watching the market, waiting for more information. Like I said, to me, the highest probability is that the market will either continue to go higher today or will go sideways. But there is a chance that we may sell off back into the previous balance area. So I'm going to wait for the chop. That is the early morning trade that happens for the first hour of the day, where the market just grinds up and down inside a range and goes nowhere. I'm going to use that as an opportunity to figure out what's happening. So until we test the resistance up here, and it either remains resistance, in which case I assume continued chop, or it breaks, I don't have any new information. Until we test the support down here, and it either remains support, in which case I expect further chop, or it breaks, and I have new information. Until one of those two things happens, the market's just going to bounce up and down and up and down, and I'm not going to care at all. No reason to enter a trade. Well, why not, Charles? The market just moved, 7 points from the low to the high. You can make money on a 7-point move. Yeah, but how did you know it was going to turn around and go up at the low? How did you know it was going to turn around and go down at the high? The answer is you didn't. It was totally random. That is what I call gambling. When you're in Shopsville, USA, everybody is gambling. Scuball overnight was net long and the markets did not sell off at the open. That's a good point. It's a little bit bullish. All right, so there's the test of the overnight high. We're looking for resistance now at 79. Scuball overnight just retraced almost all the liquidation from yesterday. That's correct. And like I said, the most important thing is that 45-degree angle from the low. So technically, if you wanted to get really textbook with it, it's supposed to be from the lowest TPO up. So this little bit of excess kind of makes it not a 45-degree angle. But as far as I'm concerned, that's a 45-degree angle. And if you're new to market profile theory, a 45-degree angle is often a sign of very, very strong support if it's retested. So the fact that we pulled back up and closed above that previous balance area, and then the overnight kept us up there, that's what's really important to me. That's the signal we don't need to head back down to the opposite end of balance, at least not yet. Hence why I say sideways or up is the higher probability in my mind. For today. Chilling with Dylan. Is there any significance to Friday's low and Monday's low being just a couple ticks off from each other? Well, it makes it weak. But beyond that, no, not really. Like I said, to me, that was just the market. This whole last little section of the spike where we got back into the previous balance area, I feel like that was just the market getting itself too short. Laggards piling on at the end of the day. They went too far. Turns out there was business to be had up here. Plenty of it. But obviously, if we do pull back down below that balance area high, well, then that low becomes a target for repair. But that's not on the radar right now. First, we got to see how the market handles the chop. One step at a time. Kayshawn, what are the market internals telling us now? Well, they're still just absorbing that overnight activity. So I wouldn't pay attention to the advance reverse decliner or the breath right now. It's too early. And just look for what happens when the ticks get back to the zero line. Do they bounce off and continue higher? Or do they start to trade below that zero line? Internals are not super helpful in chop. Not until they start to clearly develop a trend one direction or another. Which takes time. Take a little time to make up its mind. Rockingham, the market is full of emotional short time frame traders, hence the erratic nature of it recently. I would say it's not just emotional short-term traders. It's emotional everyone. I think even the big boys are having a hard time making up their mind over the last few months. We're just in interesting times. This has never existed before, this exact set of circumstances where, you know, the whole world, every central bank created enormous sums of money at the same time that we basically shut down production in terms of COVID and everything. And then all the supply chain issues that came out of that. Plus the war in Ukraine. So it's just like, no one knows, man. I ain't never seen all this happen at the same time before. Lots of uncertainty. And humans, whether they're running a hedge fund or they're just trading out of their garage, they don't like uncertainty. Kayshawn says, smash that like for luck. I have a feeling today is going to be a very, very profitable day for you. Kayshawn, I'm just saying, I can't prove these things with like scientific data, but I feel good about it. If anybody else wants to have a good day, you too could just smash that thumbs up button and instantly improve your odds. Oh, I forgot I made a banner for Chop Zones. Chop Zone. Chopping it up. Scott, oh, don't you dare tempt me. Could you do a whole hour streaming in Borat? I probably can. Market passing back through open price. I like very much. Good taper on the low. She's a nice one. No, but in all seriousness, good taper on the low as we pass back through the opening price. They're going to take a poke at that resistance above. Was that enough buyers to break through? Stay tuned. David, why did your... No, David, it just doubled in size. People said, what? He can do a Borat? Now I'm going to tell my friends. Now I'm going to share the stream. KWS, I'm glad you've learned how to trade so you don't have to rely on your singing for a living. I don't know, man. We've taken surveys on it before. People like the bad singing. The way people like the smell of their own farts. People enjoy when I make their ears bleed. Chirp, wake me up when it starts running. All jokes aside, if you wanted to just set an alert at 38.56 and an alert at 38.86, you could do that and then go about your day. Just listen for that trigger when the market tests one of those levels. Not an unreasonable idea. Right now, we got nothing but indecision. We got low volume, taper on the high and the low. Just no one wants to take this market anywhere. It's all uncertainty. Trip says, I'm digging this. Just watch the price action approach of market profile, not watching the news flow closely. I completely agree. I know there are those traders who trade the news and are profitable. I've just never met one. They're out there. They exist. They're just a very rare breed. But technical analysis? Well, it's not hard to find someone who can use that to make money in the market. All right, so when we pulled back down to the zero line on the ticks, we found support. That's a little bit bullish to see. So now let's see if we can work our way through this resistance at 38.80. I'd also like to see this node around the opening price become support on a pullback down. Okay, so that was breaking through the resistance. So now we want to see the market create support around the halfback here, 38.75. Charles, why don't you just get bullish? The market's starting to push higher. You got weak references above that need repair. Why not just go long and get bullish? Well, because we're still in a chop zone. They could just as easily push up here, reject, and pass right back through. So what's important now is to see the support become confirmed. Then we can start to look at momentum to the upside. Okay, creating this poor high gives us an opportunity to test that support, as we would expect a push away from a poor high to come back looking for support. Alex, where's the support? Well, we have to pull back to find out. we just pushed through these levels. We have not retested. Could be at the overnight high, 77.50. Could be at the halfback, 76. Could be at the opening price, 75. But we will find out shortly. All right, well, in a when what should happen doesn't, that has me bullish. We're getting new buyers at a higher price. So I'm still looking for a pullback to the halfback, but it looks like we're going to repair these weak references above first. So I will remain bullish as long as we are above the opening price. If we pass back through there, I'm back to neutral for continued chop. Sean Charles, whenever you post feeling bullish or bearish, do you enter a trade right away? Almost never. Sometimes if it's like a gap and go, if it's like, a trend and it's moving so quick, as soon as I recognize it, I just get in. But almost always the bullish or bearish banner going up means I'm now looking to buy or sell the next time it tests support. It's the same thing on the back end. You can't wait for me to change the banner from green back to gray to exit along, because I will often wait until I've already seen the confirmation that the, bullishness, whatever it may be, is over. Then I change the banner. So you would have already wanted to be out of your trade at that point. So just use it as guidance to add to your personal market understanding. Don't use it as a trade signal. Okay, so first potential support is that overnight high. We're testing it right now. And we're looking to see if we can keep those ticks above the zero line. Man, we're getting support, but low volume. Not a lot of intensity here. Come on, buyers. What are the small dashes on the TPO chart? If you're looking at the ones over here on the right here and right here, those are the halfback for each 30-minute period. So the halfback for the A period and the halfback for the B period. And then the larger white dash that's running through the whole thing right here, that is the halfback for the range. And think about halfback the way you would think about a 50% retrace on the Fibonacci. Potential support or resistance on a pullback. As seen here in the B period. Exactly at the halfback. Skewball breaking this resistance? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's trying. All right. Well, things are bullish. We just got some short covering. So now we're looking for support at 83. Can they start to build volume at higher prices and continue to push the market higher? It will definitely be a slow melt to the upside as there's a lot of resistance to work through above. But if we now find support at 38.80-ish, I would be looking for continuation to test yesterday's high. Like I said, in a very slow, grindy way of getting up there. It's also worth noting, it's too early to make the call, but we could potentially peg the advancers versus decliners at higher prices here, meaning it just kind of goes sideways in like a tight range. If that ends up happening, it is likely a trend day to the upside, and you want to buy every dip, sell every rip. Way too early to make that call now, but I'm just pointing it out in case it happens later. Okay, first support didn't hold. It's a little bit less bullish to see. Looking for support at the halfback. Mateus, I've been trading. I've had good success fading the overnight high. Do you tend to use that as a key level? Yeah. Overnight high, overnight low. One of the two, statistically, is almost always tested every day. It's very, very rare where you don't test at least the overnight high or the overnight low. And it can often be an important level in terms of continuation. So if you test the overnight high, for example, today, if we pushed above the overnight high, but then we pulled right back down, that would have been bearish, right? If we got up here and then just boom, started heading back lower, that would be bearish. But instead, what happened was we pushed above that overnight high, came back down and found support. So that is bullish that we could keep going. So that's the main thing I look at is like if I'm long and I'm looking for somewhere to take profits, an overnight high is a good spot to take profits and then watch. Are we going to get continuation or are we going to fail? Kathy, able to open the tick chart on TradingView, but not ADSPD. Yeah, they don't have it on TradingView, but you can just do ADD. That's the advancers versus decliners for the whole market, and it works exactly the same. It's totally fine. Let's pop over and take a look at the Q. Yeah, the Q is still in a chop zone. They're more bearish than the ES. Literally what I just talked about with that overnight high, they tested that overnight high, but then instead of finding support, they failed and pulled back in. So that's a little bit bearish to see. They also weren't able to completely backfill the single prints from yesterday, which is that when what should happens doesn't. They should have been able to push up looking for resistance there. So it's a little bit bearish that they couldn't quite make it. So yeah, I would describe NQ as still in the chop zone. And I would look for it to get above and stay above the overnight high before I got bullish. So you're looking for support above 12,066. Back to the ES. Well, the market is slicing through this resistance like butter, so that's a little bit bullish to see. I would have expected more of a grind up here. So we're now targeting the repair of the week reference at 38.98 and then looking for a pullback once again into support for continuation to the upside. Let's jump over and take a look at the Q. So yeah, they're bullish as well. Let's see if they can find support when they come back and test that overnight high around 12.066. That's really the confirmation you need to get bullish. You need to see that support confirmed. The C period is going to start printing here in about 1 minute, and we're going to switch on over to the private stream. If you're not a member of the brigade, you might consider joining. It only costs $10, and you get to hang out all day. You get lots of insights as the market moves. It's certainly worth $10, I would say. So give it some thought. There's a link in the description if you do want to join. If not, we will see you here tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and happy trading.